So the contract details came out yesterday. Norvell, if he leaves Florida State in the next year to take another job, if he has second thoughts and decides he wants to leave Florida State, he or his new school would have to pay Florida State $6 million, which isn't nothing.
Yeah,
It's
but
not a lot.
Not a
and
lot.
then it goes down from there. Like in a year or two, it's basically down to $4 million. Then it goes down to $3 million. So that's one of the things a lot of people wanted was that Florida State would come up with a way to get a higher buyout if Norvell wanted to leave. But honestly, man, it's just not. And Florida State tried. I mean, I'll tell you this. I was aware of this number 3 or 4 weeks ago because it was the first question I had. And yeah, they wanted it to be higher. I think that there was a push from people at Florida State to get it to double digits.
Should have been around 20 million.
Not 20 million.
No.
They wanted it into double digits of millions. And basically, Jimmy Sexton's like, no, we're not going to sign that. And so what do you do at that point? There's only so much you can do.
It sucks because it's way too low, but this is what happens with all these schools. They all get raped.
They're all done. They're all just dumb. Like, so if Norvell got fired.
What can you do? What can you do?
No, if Norvell got fired tomorrow, Ira, what does Florida State owe him? Like $80 million?
Or something, whatever it is. Yeah.
So it's like $80 million.
Yeah.
But if he leaves, he owes them $6.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing that it's unequal.
I'm not saying Florida State is dumb. I'm saying they're all dumb. They all
do. It's
they all got played 20 years ago, and now they continue to just in perpetuity. They're going to get bent over by these contracts.
The problem is there's such a finite pool of coaches that you believe can win you a national championship, and if you have one, you can't let them leave. Everybody else is a risk. And then now if your program, there's so much dependent on success in football, and especially in a situation like Florida State could not have had less leverage in any situation than they did in this one, because he was sitting there possibly having the Alabama job, and you're coming off of what you just came off of, the snub, the transfer portal, all that nonsense. You couldn't play hardball in that situation. I don't know if you ever can anymore, but you certainly couldn't.
Well, and I certainly don't. Like, I know one of the like the last 2 years, the buyout is $0, but that matters not at all, because if he's still here in 2030, he'll be under a new contract with new stipulations. So that the stuff 9 or 10 years from now doesn't matter. 2 years from now, $2 million is weak. That's just weak, but I get it. You got to keep them. I get it.
4 then 3, then it'll be the 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal, but I understand. The leverage is all with the agent and the coach. I do think that schools have got to be better. Some have been. There are cases where you see buyouts that are much greater than 6.
The only thing that's anywhere near like what people want is Oregon.
Oregon's.
And I don't know I'd love to know what Phil Knight is giving in exchange for. I don't know if he's giving stock.
He is.
Is he giving stock at Nike?
He gives stock and he loses it all if he leaves.
Right.
Well, can they give Norvell Bitcoin? Just pay him in some Bitcoin or GameStop. Get him some GameStop stock. And look, it won't be nearly as big a deal. I get Florida State had to do it now. If they are in the Big Ten or the SEC 2 years from now, they are getting an extra $35 million a year just from TV revenue, they will be able to maybe play more hardball with a coach.
Yes, because it would be a desirous job. Absolutely. Yeah. And you'd get good candidates. And that's the other thing.
It's a very tenuous spot.
Just say, also Saban, there are no guarantees with these coaches either.
No, I agree. But the other thing I would say, though, is from a coach's standpoint, and a lot of people will say, well, where's the loyalty? Why isn't he going to be loyal or whatever? Well, the reality is this situation in Florida State right now for Mike Norvell is fantastic, right? And he's aligned, the president, the AD, that they talk about alignment all the time. It's all perfect. Well, in 2 or 3 years from now, it could be a different president, could be a different AD, could be a different board of trustees, and now he'd be stuck into some contract with a $10, $15 million buyout. I understand his perspective too, is all I'm saying. Like, it's not just because, hey, he wants to leave, but the circumstances may change, and he wants to have the ability to if that's the situation at the time.